What's happening, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to On the Topic Of. And this week, as far as video game news goes, we're going to be talking about Allison Road, sort of. Now, if you aren't familiar with this game, it's pretty much the continuation of the development of Silent Hills, which was canceled, I believe, towards the end of 2015 after the playable trailer had been released and everyone had gotten excited about it because of the tension and the eventual split between Konami and Hideo Kojima. Now, that being said, Allison Road is pretty much the spiritual successor. It is looking to be what fans were wanting Silent Hills to be, and it should be coming out probably, I would say, between 2017 and 2018, but that has yet to be determined. Now, that's not exactly what we're going to be talking about this week. Rather, we're going to be talking about how Hideo Kojima is such an incredible genius because a demo that he was involved in has already inspired so many new titles to date, and I'm sure many in the future. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, the first game that I want to kind of bring light to is Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. This game pretty much stole the show at Sony's E3 press conference, which was very impressive in and of itself. But pretty much to set the scene for you, everyone was looking at this horror kind of game, trying to figure out what exactly it was. People were thinking it was a continuation, or maybe even Hideo Kojima's new project, which looked to be a continuation of the playable trailer. However, it ended up being Resident Evil 7. Now, if you do look at the trailer that was released at E3 and the gameplay that was shown, and you compare it to some of the early Resident Evil games, especially with the slow door openings that are, notorious in those original Resident Evil games, you can see some similarities, and you can see where they're kind of getting those little small hints of inspiration from. However, I think, and I'm one of those guys that believes, that without the playable trailer, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard will be shaping up to be quite a different kind of game. Now, I'm not saying that it would necessarily be what we were getting with Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6. However, we would not be getting this kind of slow-paced, explorative as you're going through a house trying to find little hints and clues and things like that. That's not the kind of experience we would be getting. At least that's not what I think we would be getting if Hideo Kojima, Del Toro, and Konami hadn't created this playable trailer back a couple of years ago. Now let's talk about Allison Road. I don't know as much about this title, so I made a couple of notes, but pretty much the main gist of it is that this game was pretty much announced whenever playable trailer was taken down and Silent Hills was subsequently canceled. That being said, it was itself canceled back in June, which was to the chagrin of a lot of people that were looking forward to the game. However, it has been announced this week, like I said, that it is back in development by a two-man team consisting of Christian Kessler and his wife, so that's going to be an interesting one to see how that all pans out. But it looks like the game was, for the most part, coming along nicely, and if you haven't seen any gameplay, check this out. Now, of course, Hideo Kojima is not the one that's, doing all of the development stuff, doing all of the writing. He's not a one-man band, so to speak. Whenever it comes to Silent Hills, playable trailer, Metal Gear Solid, whatever it might be, he's always had a team of people behind him and a team of people to support him in all of his endeavors. That being said, I don't believe that Silent Hills would have been shaping up to be the game that anyone would have wanted without Hideo Kojima. Metal Gear Solid would not have been anything anyone would have wanted without Hideo Kojima. Look at Metal Gear Survive, just, pointing that out there, just saying. So that being said, I believe that Kojima's influence on the industry is very evident, and I also believe that he's really good at finding new kinds of ways to make games, and maybe even invent genres that previously weren't even there. Now, as someone who plays a lot of games and who pays a pretty good amount of attention to the gaming industry as a whole, it's pretty easy to classify a game. You've got The Last of Us, which is pretty much a survival horror game. You've got Jak and Daxter, which is pretty much a third-person platformer puzzle kind of. You can kind of figure out where the game belongs and put things where they should be. But with Hideo Kojima, it's getting more and more difficult to figure out exactly what his game is. Take, for instance, Death Stranding. You guys knew exactly where I was going with this. At E3 2016, this is the one that I believe there was a pretty good quote is, "I don't know what the hell I just saw, but I know it got me really excited," and that's the kind of thing that stuck with me. It's because Death Stranding is one of the most it's the strangest kind of game, and I'm not exactly sure where he's going to go with it, but it seems like Kojima's projects and those that are going to be coming out of Kojima Productions going forward are becoming less and less like games and more like interactive art pieces, and I think that's where he's going to take all of his experience from the years he's been in the gaming industry and take all of that knowledge and kind of go forward and push the boundaries of what the gaming industry has to offer people as the years do go on. So when it comes down to it, I'm glad Allison Road is back in development. Can't wait to play that game. I'm glad that the majority of people are enjoying Resident Evil 7 Biohazard's demo at least, and are expecting a lot from it, and I'm so glad it's getting away from that experience that we got from Resident Evil 6. But more so than that, I believe that we should all take a moment to realize that Kojima is definitely trying some new things, and to keep your eye on this guy, because he very well might be the first kind of guy that's like a Michelangelo or a Raphael, you know, one of these big, not a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, but I'm talking about the artist. He could be the first standout guy for the gaming industry that is known for generations to come, and I do believe that he is going to be that guy. So there you guys have it. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, drop me a like down below and let me know what you think about Hideo Kojima. What do you think about Silent Hills, Allison Road, all of the games that I mentioned? Are any of those exciting you? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you happen to be new to the channel or you've never seen any of my other content, I do upload new stuff like 3 or 4 days a week, depending on the week. So there's always something new right here when you drop by to watch some videos. But as for right now, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching this particular video. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.